This is Sway Lee. You might know him from being a member of Ray Shrimmered with songs like Black Beatles,
That girl is a real crowd, please. Small,
and No Type.
I don't got no type.
Or you might know him for his solo career, featuring on songs like Unforgettable
And you are
and Sunflower.
needless to say, I keep a check. She was a bad bad.
No matter which one though, all of the songs he is on have earned him the title the King of Hooks, with it seeming like every artist at one point was trying to get him to do the hook for their song, and there's no surprise why. So how did he get this title, and what happened with Ray Shrimmered? Let's find out. This is how one made it mainstream and the other became forgotten.
This could be yours when she playing.
Real quick before the video starts, make sure you subscribe. We're aiming for 500 subscribers, so if you can help out, that would be massively appreciated. Now onto the video. Khalif Malik Ibn Sharman Brown was born on the 7th of June 1995. He was born in Whittier, California to a mother who worked in the US Army, which meant he and his brother, Slim Jimmy, would move around quite frequently. They would finally settle in Tupelo, Mississippi though, when their mother would start dating a man named Floyd Sullivan. Sway and Jimmy would both start making music at a young age, spending all their spare time making beats and writing songs. A few years later though, their mother and her partner would split up, leading to the brothers to skip school quite frequently, just so they can take music a lot more seriously, with them always returning home late at night after a long day of making music. This frustrated their mother, and after some time, she'd had enough and kicked the brothers out. Since the two were now technically homeless, they'll start squatting in abandoned houses. But the two didn't let this situation get them down. In fact, they actually used it to their advantage, and would start throwing parties to promote their music. After a few years of working to fund their equipment and grinding to make it big, they had become somewhat of local celebrities. Eventually though, a producer they knew and had worked with, P Nasty, would introduce them to Mike Will Made It. He would sign the duo on, and they'll start working harder than ever, with their first song to gain real traction being No Flex Zone.
No flex zone. They know better.
The track would quickly make its way to the Billboard Hot 100, peaking at number 36. They would even get Nicki Minaj and Pusha T on the remix.
No, you can't use my lip gloss. Pop a perk, now I'm on lift off.
Shortly after, they would drop their next single, No Type,
I don't got no type.
which would quickly become bigger than their last single, peaking at number 16 on the Hot 100, and by January of 2015, both tracks were certified RIAA Platinum. In early December of 2014, they announced the drop of their first album, SremmLife. This album would include tracks like Come Get Her,
Somebody come get her. She's dancing like a strip.
My Ex,
My ex bitch, I'm shining on my ex bitch. I'm shining.
and their previously released singles. The album would do massive numbers for them, and would debut at number 5 on the Billboard Hot 200. They would get thousands of album sales in the first week, which was huge for the breakout artists. Although this is where problems with the duo started. This is where people started pointing out something very common for duos in the music scene, known as the sidekick effect. This is where fans would gravitate towards one of the two artists, leaving the other one in the shadow of the first. And if you hadn't guessed it already, Sway Lee was definitely the favourite, and in particular, Sway Lee's hooks are what won him over with the fans. And the duo definitely saw all the comments, since it was under every post they made, every song they released, literally everything they did. Someone was saying Sway Lee is Ray Shrimmered, but they didn't comment on it. Not yet anyway. The duo would go on to drop their next album the following year, titled SremmLife 2. This was another huge album for the duo, including the song that took over the world, Black Beatles.
That girl is a real crowd, please. Small.
This song went huge due to the Mannequin Challenge, which had everyone taking part, including schools, sports teams, celebrities, anyone you can think of probably took part. This song, as of recording, is on over 1 billion streams on Spotify. But if you remember the song, then I'm guessing you remember whose part it was that blew up, Sway Lee's. Actually, whilst we're at it, think of any Ray Shrimmered song. I would bet a lot that you think straight away of Sway Lee's parts. It's fair to say the sidekick effect just kept getting stronger and stronger, and it was around this time that it clearly started affecting the group. Not too long after their second album, the duo decided to start working on their own albums for the very first time, with the most hype obviously being around Sway. What I didn't mention throughout the video though, was that Sway Lee already dipped his toe into the solo side of music. Due to his amazing hooks in the duo's songs, some huge artists came calling, asking him to feature on their tracks. So when it got around to Ray Shrimmered making their own projects, he already had songs with some other big names on his own. Sway Lee would go on to feature on some of the biggest songs of modern times, like Sunflower with Post Malone, who I did just do a video on by the way.
Needless to say, I keep a check. She was a bad bad.
Unforgettable with French Montana.
And you are unforgettable.
And Sicko Mode with Travis Scott.
Someone said, motherfucker, someone said.
With those songs all on billions of streams, all of those huge songs with Sremm and his solo career, there was no other choice but to call him the king of hooks. His amazing delivery and the catchiness of everything he did just made people want to listen more and more. And at this time, having Sway Lee on a hook meant you had a good song. Meanwhile, whilst all of this is happening, Slim Jimmy is just being pushed off more to the side. A lot of people would actually speculate if the brothers have completely split and wouldn't work together anymore, with Jimmy being in the spotlight here since people were accusing him of being jealous of his little brother's success. But they would do countless interviews stating that they hadn't split up, with Sway mainly staying silent in these interviews. Instead of releasing solo albums, the duo would put them together and make their third album, titled Sremm, which would release in 2018. This album was a bit different though, with it being a 3-disc album. One disc with just Jimmy songs, one with just Sway songs, and one with Ray Shremmerd songs. It's clear this was just a compromise album, with Sway wanting to elevate his solo career and Jimmy wanting to prove that he could even have one. This didn't do as well as they hoped though, with people not enjoying this album nearly as much as they did the other two. It was just an inconsistent piece of music that made for a bad listening experience, and the fans let them know it. And this clearly got to Jimmy. He would go on a huge rant on Twitter, stating that he has left the group and he's given the haters what they wanted. The official Ray Shremmerd account would quickly post that this wasn't true, stating that brothers will be brothers and that it's Sremm for life. However, Jimmy did not take kindly to this, responding to the tweet saying that this isn't the case and whoever's on the account needs to log off. The tweets have since been deleted. Jimmy would just keep spiraling down, with having multiple run-ins with the law, including a brawl in which someone got stabbed and Jimmy was seen fleeing the scene with blood all over him. On the 17th of March 2021, news broke that Ray Shremmerd's stepfather, Floyd Sullivan, who was like a real father to them, had been murdered, with the man who pulled the trigger being Ray Shremmerd's.
My dad, my pops, he passed away recently. I have 3 brothers. Allegedly, the police say my youngest brother, he my dad, like, killed my dad, like, and it's like my brother, my dad. It's like unbelievable, like you can't even imagine, like it's like something out of a movie, you know?
This stunned them to the core, with their music output slowing down drastically, with Sway Lee just doing random features and Slim Jimmy staying inactive. After the sadness of their family being broke apart, Jimmy and Sway reconnected publicly 2 years later, and later dropped Sremm for Life, their 4th album. And this would just be their worst album yet, with the absence of a huge song to get them big numbers. It was heavily criticised, and it seemed like the prime of Ray Shremmerd had passed. Jimmy's time away from the public eye helped him take some time to reflect though, and he realised that Sway was the more important of Sremm, and he felt like he just wasn't carrying his weight with the group.
Keep all the way 1,000. I felt like before, you know, we were doing our thing and we was winning, but I felt like I wasn't carrying my weight as an artist, and I'm very what's it called, critical of myself. You know what I'm saying?
After all of it though, the brothers were still as close as they've ever been, and even though the fans had a heavy favourite, Sway wasn't going to let his brother be forgotten about. And even though he went on to do solo endeavours, he stated that he was always Sremm, and it was always thinking of his brother and Sremm.
You know what I'm saying? Be compatible with different artists. You know what I'm saying? I want to be as big as possible. Like, you know what I'm saying? So even when I'm branching off doing other things, it's like I'm always coming home to Ray Shremmerd. You know what I'm saying? Like Ray Shremmerd is my baby, my base. Like,
Pause.
no homo. No, this.
It's clear the two won't be able to relive their 2015 days, with them being inactive as of recent with dropping music. But at the end of the day, even if Sway was the bigger, the better, the more important member, there still would have been no Ray Shremmerd without Jimmy. Thank you all for watching, I really do appreciate it. If you did enjoy, then you'll definitely like the video that's on screen, so make sure to check that out. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe as well. Let's try and get to 500 before the end of February, that would be huge. And that's it from me, so I'll see you all again soon for another one. Goodbye guys.